Hello, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thanks for stopping by my channel for my March reviews. I tried to participate in March of the Mammoths and middle grade March and do my general nonfiction and classic of the month. So for my nonfiction and my classic, I kind of combined those for the month of March. I had read a illustrated guide for Wilkie Collins and The Secret Life of Wilkie Collins. Wilkie Collins most famously probably wrote The Woman in White and The Moonstone. He's kind of considered the original father of the detective story. And I also appreciated him just that he always, not always, but often has kind of a supernatural kind of bent to it. And I just really appreciate his writing style. And so this book really focuses specifically on some of the lesser known mysteries and went to a lot of trying to track down the ancestors, trying to track down the grandchildren, great grandchildren, trying to find more personal documents about Wilkie Collins because he was very secretive. He basically had two families and he never married. So he had kind of fallen in love with one woman who had lost, who was widowed, had a child. Wilkie kind of took that child as his own daughter and then fell in love later with a woman who probably was lower class and a servant, and that would have been at this point in his life when he was kind of in the more elite, was getting paid for his writing, wouldn't have been really acceptable. But he had three children and he actually wanted her to have a good life, and he created a whole nother name. Even he would register them as a married couple with a different name, and so it was just a fascinating drama. And then I also at the same time for the classic went ahead and picked one of his on a Liverbox free audio, so I listened to I Say No by Wilkie Collins. This is a later novel of his that was one of those where he does a series over time, and it was really good, really well written. I was really into it. And then the end was really unsatisfying. It was not a good ending. I just couldn't believe it. In fact, I sat there and was, I listened to it on audio. So I was just sitting there in the silence thinking to myself, did I miss? Did I zone out? What happened? And so like I got on my phone, started looking at the reviews for it and whatnot. And yes, I was right. It's an unsatisfying ending, but then the commentary on it basically made a fascinating observation that I then put together after reading his biography about sometimes, in fact, most of the time, he doesn't, when there's like a mystery, when there's a murder, when there's an injustice, if it goes to trial, like they don't get caught, they don't get busted, they don't get convicted, they end up having mysterious things happen to them, or they die, or they take their life, or this is like a common thing that happens in his stories, and I hadn't really thought about that before. So anyway, all that to say, I don't actually recommend I Say No as one of the ones that you should read by him, but I do still find myself to be a huge Wilkie Collins fan and will continue to read anything that he wrote. I just find the man so engaging, entertaining, and his life itself. Oh, and I didn't even mention his great friendship with Charles Dickens, who was 14 years older than him, but they really bonded. They both had some health issues. Wilkie was this young, or younger anyway, person who brought a lot of fun and frivolity and friendship to Charles Dickens that he was really longing for. He was kind of struggling a little in his marriage, or just struggling with some of the pressures of adulthood, or that kind of he really pulled from Wilkie some inner child, if you will. And then Wilkie, of course, had Charles Dickens as a very big encourager, helped influence and shape a lot of his things. They both would feed off of each other for their creativity and their writing. They started producing plays and actually literally producing them, actually acting in them together. It's a fascinating read. I highly recommend finding out more even about Wilkie Collins. In this particular one, The Secret Life of Wilkie Collins, by William M. Clark. Really, really good. Then my March of the Mammoths, I didn't really complete, but I'm working on it still. I did Michael Connolly's The Harry Bosch novels. It's the first three of the detective stories, and I'm not a big detective thriller kind of girl, but when I'm in the mood for it, I really do like it. So I downloaded, after I listened to the very long, very unsatisfying ending of I Say No, then I listened to the first one, The Black Echo, and it is very good. And I will read or listen to one or the other two in this series, but I didn't do it. So technically I did not complete my March of the Mammoths, but that was okay. It was okay. Middle grade March. I know you might have already clicked off because middle grade is not your thing if you're an adult, but I'm just telling you, if you need something a little bit lighthearted, a little bit palate cleansing in between your heavier reads, middle grade is really a great way to go. So let me tell you about some of them in no particular order. Al Capone Does My Shirts. This is a series set on Alcatraz. It is a boy who befriends the daughter of the warden. Well, they have an interesting relationship. They kind of get each other in trouble and play off of each other. And this is set in the time period where literally Al Capone is on Alcatraz as a prisoner, and they really do laundry or tasks. And so they hatch all these kind of interesting crusades, and it's clever, it's cute, it's an easy breezy read. This is a wolf called Wander, Roseanne Perry. This is based on a true story of an actual wolf who was tracked over time, went many miles, started a new family in a brand new area, looks at some of the reasons why, and then gives it a fictitious story and family to really suck you into learning about it in a very first-hand kind of way, but not a cheesy talky animal. It's the wolf does not talk to humans. The wolf is just talking to himself and to other wolves, and you, the human, get to learn and experience that, which I appreciated. I appreciated that. The Strangers. I actually got this one kind of water damage because I spilled my water bottle on it, and I'm sad about that because it's the first in a series and it is really good. So this is a kind of mystery story where you have three children in a family that discover that there are three children in a completely other state with the exact same first and middle names, exact same birthdays, and they've been kidnapped. And the mom is acting really weird and mysterious, and the mom disappears, and they're trying to put together how this is all connected, and it's kind of a little multiverse, and it ends with a big cliffhanger. So I'm going to have to get the second one sooner rather than later. Don't know that I can wait till next middle grade March to read the next one in this series, but really well done. Greystone Secrets, Margaret Peterson Haddix. Really good. Speaking of series, I finished a series. This is the Books of Elsewhere. This is the fifth and final one, and it is Olive, who is a little girl who has come to a mysterious house that has paintings that you can actually enter into, and the cats do talk in this one, and they have some magical properties. There are people and different characters in the paintings that can be interacted with. It is starts out kind of Harry Potter feel, very lighthearted, and then it does turn very dark as the series goes on. And it is even noted that sometimes it can be a little bit scary for the actual younger readers that might be picking this up. It's just fun to go on the adventures with Olive as she's trying to not only learn about saving the history of this house and the family that she has come to identify as her own, but also just kind of come into her own as her own person, kind of grow up, if you will, through interacting with the characters that are in these paintings and in this house. Keeper of Lost Cities. This is the beginning of a series, pretty chunky books. I think there's 5 or 6 in this series. We are going through with a girl who is struggling kind of to fit into her family and has some kind of mind, can hear thoughts, wondering if she's crazy kind of thing, what's up with all this, and then finds out she's actually gifted. She's not even really necessarily human. This isn't really her real family. That kind of traditional story. Comes across a boy who also is like her and is going to show her, reveal the truth, reveal the lost cities, reveal this secondary world. Again, Harry Potterish. There's a whole other realm going on top of ours. Really well written, really adventurous. Look forward. I mean, this seems like a lot, but we just are getting started. So I look forward to see where we're going next with this adventure. And then I thought this was middle grade, y'all. Tao Zero by Paul Anderson. And probably if you know this book, you're laughing at me. And I don't think anybody actually said, Kristen, that's not middle grade when I held it up to read it during middle grade March. This is not middle grade. This is very body and has a lot of crew members. It's 25 men, 25 women that get sent on a mission, and they're not coming back. They always know they're not going to return to Earth. If they did return to Earth, it wouldn't be the same Earth. Everybody they would know would be dead because of time warp and all this kind of stuff. And so they immediately start hooking up and having all this rambunctious kind of behavior, and the ship has a malfunction where it can't even slow down. They end up in a part of space and a part of time that they don't, they weren't planning on it. And how do they deal with that? It was okay. I don't actually, I mean, I can appreciate the premise of it, but it didn't really hit the way that I was expecting it to. Maybe it's because I was expecting it to be more lighthearted and middle grade level, and then it was way heavier and darker than I thought it was going to be. But if that sounds interesting, by all means. It's not a big book. I don't think it's a series. I think this is a standalone, so go for it. Those are the books that I have read in March. Let me know if you've read any of them, if you want to read any of them. Check out my TBR that will be coming out soon for April, where I'm going to actually ask you to help me pick out one of the books that I will choose to read next month. Thank you so much for stopping by. Like and subscribe. See you all later. Happy reading.